Welcome to SB67D. My name is Felicia Frida Aidan Akwan. This is Principles of Management 1. We're going to be focusing our discussion on Session 4, Tools and Techniques of Planning, which is centered in Unit 4, Planning. By the end of the session, you should be able to identify and explain some of the common tools and techniques we use in planning and explain what we mean by the Management by Objectives, MOB. So some of the tools used in planning by managers is one, forecasting. And forecasting is about looking at your data, what you have by far or based on the past to project into the future what can possibly be. So if you know that you make sales of, let's say, 20 cartons of milk per month, then you can use it to project that, okay, in the next coming 3, 4, 5 months or a year ahead, this is how much cartons I'm going to be selling. And this can help you when you want to even do decisions like downsizing, because if you know that you are selling this amount, then you know that this is the number of labor I also need. And so maybe in the coming months or when it's nearing Christmas, the purchases is going to double up or triple up. So I may need some extra casual hands. After December, I don't really need that much. Or around this time of the year, sales is not that good, and so you need very few people, and so it can help you downsize that. We need just 1 or 2 people in there as well. Another technique which is used is what we call the linear programming, which is more mathematical inclined or a quantitative tool, and usually operations managers use this when they are dealing with problems where they want to find optimum solutions. And usually these problems have some sort of restrictions or limitations, like when you're looking at the available materials you have, the budget you have, the labor you have, the machine time which is at your disposal. And so these usually take the form of graphs or computer solutions. Then we also have budgets. Like basically budgets are usually they show the plan or what you hope to do, and they look at it more in the financial terms. So maybe we want to buy a new machine or something. You realize that at the end of the day, what you want to do, how you're going to go about it, when you state all of those ones, you're going to have look out for the monetary aspect. If you're going to buy a machine, obviously there's a cost to that machine, how you're going to even get it, where you're going to get it, installation, all those things, what is going to be used in, who's going to use it, because you have to even pay the one who's going to use the machine in your business and all those ones. And when you're doing budget, typically our mind just goes to the expenses part, but then when you're doing budget, you also need to look out for your income. Where is the money going to come from for you to pay the people who work on the budget, who work on the machines and all of those things? Those are all issues you have to look out for in the budget. So in simple words, budgets are the summary of planned events of an individual or of the business or organization, which is usually in financial terms in there. And like I said, it's not only about expenses, but you need to look out for your incomes as well. And your budget basically tells us your objectives and the goal for the budget. So we see all of these things in our budgets as well. And the beauty about budgets is that they help in all the functions of management. When we want to plan, when we want to control, when we want to even lead, when we want to organize, in every stage of the planning process, budgeting is very key in there. Another tool and technique is the break-even analysis, where you want to know the optimum level where your cost and your expenditure or your incomes is going to balance off. So if you want to, let's say you're producing water, you want to know at what quantity am I going to produce this water that when I sell off, the money I'll make what, at least I won't make any, if I'm not making any profits or loss, at least I'm breaking even, like my cost and my income is matching up in there. And so usually we also call it the cost volume profit analysis, because at the end of the day you need to know the cost, how much it takes you to produce, let's say, a pen, and then how many quantities of pens you need to sell to make a certain amount of profit or a certain amount of money, which is going to offset the cost of this pen. And then the excesses that if you produce in addition, you're going to make profits on it. And this is very key. There's no way you're going to seek for funds, or even for you as a business, you should be able to tell how much it costs you to produce every item you are producing, how much it takes for you to recruit or get back that money, how many volumes of it, how many quantities of the item you need to produce to really make that amount of money needed to what offset the cost of that item, and the excesses, like if you sell any more extra, how much profit is going to what let you get. Then we also have the management by objectives, which is to help with conflict of interest when it comes to managers. And so did I say MBO, management by objectives, is actually supposed to help with the conflict when it comes to managers and employees, especially when it regards to tasks that have to be completed or performed when it comes to achieving these issues in there. And so we're going to go deeper into the MBO process for us to understand this concept very well as well. So like I was saying earlier, MBO, which is a management by objective, is supposed to reduce conflicts of interest in there, and is usually between managers and employees. Now, what this entails is that it starts by, first and foremost, the employees and the managers, they sit together. There's a mutual agreement that this is what we want to do. Now, once we've been able to set the goals together, so once the employee and the manager sits down and they set these goals, that means they are both mutually accountable for it. And so yes, this is the goal you want to set. This is the performance you then have to do. So you know your part of the deal as an employee. I know my part of the deal as a manager. And so it begins by, first and foremost, like I was saying, there's a mutual setting of objectives or goals, what you really want to achieve. Then we look out for what's the actions to be done or the job performance you want to achieve. So at the end of the day, you as an employee, we said we want to produce 10 pens per day. You have agreed you want to produce 10, or you can produce 10. Now, at the end of the day, we need to look out for the actions or the things you need to do to be able to produce these 10 pens per day. And the beauty about management by objective is that we both do it together. And so we have to constantly review the performance of the employee to see that, are you really producing the 10 pens per day, or you're now producing 7 pens per day. And at the end of the evaluation process, we control the result in them. So this is one technique most managers today use, because these days people don't own it if you do it alone, and so managers tend to engage employees in there. So some advantages of MBO, which is a management by objective, is that one, there is first and foremost better overall management and achievement of performance level, because at the end of the day there's mutual agreement. So the employee has said that this is what they want to do to achieve that goal. Managers have also said this is what they're also going to do on their part to achieve the goal, and we all understand that this is what we want to achieve, and this is what we are working towards. So we realize that there's better management and achievement of performance. There's also effective overall planning system, because all are involved and all actively partake in that process. It also forces managers to also establish priorities and measurable standards of performance. And then it also helps clarify the roles, responsibility, and authority of personnel. So you as an employee, everyone in there knows what they are supposed to do or what is required of them. Managers also know what is required of them. It also encourages participation of individual employees and managers when it comes to achieving these objectives, because of the mutuality in there. It also facilitates the process of controlling, because we start by setting up a standard or a goal we want to achieve, an objective we want to achieve, and then be able to monitor it along the way to see and do the corrective measures, and most importantly ensure that control is at place. It also provides the golden opportunity for career development, not only for the employees but also for managers as well, and also lets individuals know what is expected of them. Because MBO, the beauty is, you say what you think you have to do, I also say what I want you to do as a manager and what I also have to do. Then we both agree that, okay, this is what you're saying you can do, but this is what I also think you can do. Now, in the midway or the midpoint, or how we're going to meet each other half and half, is what we're going to work with, and we agree to it before we start. And so everybody knows what is expected of them from the word go, and that also helps in the achievement of performance as well, and it provides more objective and tangible basis of performance appraisals and salary decisions. This one, if you yourself are not performing, you know that There's not any manager who is taking away some of their benefits or anything. It also improves communication within the organization and helps identify promotable managers and employees. So those who are really performing and meeting their objectives, they know that, oh, these are good people, we need to push up the ladder. It also facilitates organizational ability to change and increases motivation and commitment of employees in there as well. So these are some of the advantages of the management by objectives, and that's why contemporary managers tend to apply this or use this in their business organizations as well. However, there are some disadvantages of the management by objectives. One is that it requires a lot of time and commitment of top managers. And a lot of top managers don't really have that luxury of time. They have a lot of work and things to deal with. And so it really takes up a lot of their time if you're really going to do the MBO very well. It also requires a lot of paperwork and a lot of administrative processes. And sometimes people just want to dodge this. And that's why it is not really used to the core around here. It also creates a tendency to focus on short-term value versus long-term planning, because these are usually for short-term plans. When it comes to corporate and strategic plans, it becomes hard to do MBO. You never finish that one. And so if you don't take care and you just go with just the MBO, you end up only looking at your short-term planning and leaving out your long-term planning. And it can also be difficult to establish and put into operation at times, depending on the type of organization you have, the type of employees you have, even the type of managers you have and their philosophies you have. So sometimes really enacting it can become very hard. So in this session, we've looked at the management function of planning, where we focused our discussion on some tools and techniques used in planning. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you.